The Football World Cup. There's no other show quite like it. The hopes and dreams of entire nations riding on the fitness and skills of 23 of their young men who they hope will do their country proud. Every 4 years, the eyes of the world turn to a football tournament that matches the might of the world's best players. For 31 countries, the tournament will end in disappointment and despair. The next tournament can't come fast enough for these countries. But for one lucky and hard-working team, they will hold the bragging rights. They will puff out their collective chests with national pride. They will be the one to go down in history as the winners of the World Cup 2018. Nothing matches the sheer drama and pageantry of a Football World Cup. It eclipses every other sporting event, including the Olympics, as the world's most watched tournament. Over 200 countries started a qualification process over a 2-year span. Only 32 made it. And they're not the best 32 nations in the world either, not by a long shot. The absence in this tournament of Italy, the Netherlands, Chile and the USA show just how hard it is to qualify for the Football World Cup. Many are calling this the Outsiders Tournament, where many countries will fancy their chances of qualifying for the latter stages of the tournament. Australia is one of those countries. Make no mistake, this is the biggest show on earth. We here at Putin Football First will be bunkered down for the month to bring you a different style of commentary and insight into the world game. As Dylan Moran once said in his TV show Black Books, you'll laugh, you'll cry, it'll change your life. So make sure you tune in each day to enjoy the beautiful game. Hello and welcome to Putin Football First, your daily World Cup preview program, brought to you by two novice Novocastrians with a love of the world game. I'm Tony Vidre, and to my right is a man who's dusting off his CV right now. He's found out that Real Madrid need a head coach, Jonathan Pointer. How are you?
Hey Tony, I'm well, thank you. I'm thinking, do you think if I put a little bit of glitter in with the CV in the envelope, it might make me stand out?
It'll make you special. I probably wouldn't do it, but I probably would be practicing the headbutt, the Zinedine Zidane headbutts.
I can go there.
Got him a long way.
But anyway, nice to be here. Thank you very much.
It's terrific to be here.
Yeah. Hey, listen, everybody, thanks for joining us. As Tony mentioned, we are a pair of novices, so forgive us. But on the other hand, we are being streamed on Facebook and on our website. You're probably there now. But if you want to drop us a line on Facebook or through Twitter, please feel free. This is for all Novocastrians, all Newcastle people, and we want your views on the World Cup and how it's all going. So it's for everybody. Get involved.
The tag at Putin Football First.
Indeed.
The Twitter handle.
Indeed, that's one T, Putin.
After the great man himself.
Yes. Okay.
Well, what's your experience?
Well, my experience of this World Cup is that, look, I think this is, of all World Cups over the last 20 years, I think this one is the one most likely to bring a newcomer to the winner's podium.
It's the Outsiders. They're calling it the Outsiders World Cup. So I don't know why you've got an Italia shirt on, but
well, actually,
we're recreating the 1970 World Cup final here between Brazil and Italy.
Well, look, I was feeling very sorry for the Italians. Aside from being married to one, I have a lot of Italian friends, and I'd just like to say, you're not invited this year, all right? And this is my one nod to you. After this, you're all out. And on that note, Tony, tell us about your friend.
Oh, this little guy, my mother-in-law made me this quite a few years ago, when I used to still play football. And my 10-year-old daughter, taking one look at this when I got it out, said to me, oh, that's right, I forgot, Dad, you used to have dark hair.
And fat legs from the side as well.
Maradona legs.
Indeed.
Yeah. Get back to the World Cup. It is the Outsiders World Cup. We know that Italy's not there, Chile's not there, the Netherlands aren't there, USA aren't there.
Powerhouses, the USA.
Well, again, but it upsets that whole equilibrium, and there's a lot of teams, and Australia's one of them, who fancy their chances of getting out of the group stages and having a long run.
Well, to that end, we've got our opinions, but we've actually got some really interesting people set to come in and visit and talk to us over the next 4 weeks. You've got a very special guest in a couple of days, which we're going to pre-record because he's actually at the World Cup. Tell us about this one.
Well, thanks to you, you've teed up the one and only, the CEO of the Newcastle Jets, Mr. Laurie McKenna. Looking forward to
big fan of the show, Laurie.
Looking forward to speaking to him on Tuesday. And as you mentioned, he's over in Russia right now, and we have some surprises from Laurie lined up in the future programs.
Indeed. So Laurie's going to be sending back some live clips for us. He's going to be reporting from behind the scenes in Russia exclusively for Putin Football First, and many other guests will be coming along the way. So stick around, we've got plenty to come.
We don't know who they are, but as soon as we stalk them and nail them down, they'll be here.
Once they return an email or two.
Wonderful. Now, we're going to have a few regular segments over the course of the next month. One of them I'm very excited about is Coach's Corner. The man to my right, Jonathan Pointer, is a coach extraordinaire. Tell us a little bit about this segment and what it means.
Look, I don't know about extraordinaire, but I have been a student of the game for many years, and a few people have been unlucky enough to have me talk at them about it. What we're going to do in this show, we've just prepared a few segments where we've analysed the coaches. We watch the World Cup, we talk about the players a lot. Sometimes the coaches have a high profile, but all of them have a particular thing that they do. All of them have a tick, if you like, a way of running a team. So we're going to break that down in little segments called Coach's Corner throughout the series, and hopefully we'll see them do exactly what I say they're going to do when those teams play. So
a lot of animation, a lot of hitting themselves on the forehead.
Only if you're Mexican, but hey, that's how it goes, and he's very entertaining.
A lot of this.
That's the one. So without any further ado, I've done a little bit of homework, and here is our first Coach's Corner.
Let's go to it.
If there's one coach that is pushing the proverbial shit uphill with a pointy stick this year, it's Russia's coach, Stan Cherchesov, the only national coach in the World Cup who played as a goalkeeper. This man is a lion of Russian football. He played over 400 games as a professional, won about 7 national titles, became a coach in 2004 and won more titles. In 2016 he received the poison chalice that is coach of the national Russian team, the Sbornaya. With the added pressure of being the host nation and the president, Mr. Putin, declaring that his expectation is to win the thing, this poor guy has perhaps the worst team in the World Cup. That's not to say that Russian players are crap, but several of the key players in this team are out injured, and the ones he has left lack depth and, well, let's just say it, a bit of talent. To put this in perspective, this team has won just 1 game in the last 3 international tournaments they've played, and they lost to Austria 1-0 just days ago. Cherchesov is a stoic man and knows that to admit defeat before it started is a no-go for international coaches. He continues to declare hopes and beliefs that they can progress to the second round at least, and miraculously, Russia have appeared in what looks to be a suspiciously easy group. But if this coach gets the Sbornaya into the second 2 weeks of this competition, I'll eat my coach's hat. If he does, wow, it will make for a huge spectacle. It'll blow this competition apart as home crowds will go nuts, and anything can happen after that. Good luck, Stan. It's going to take everything you have.
That was really interesting, Jonathan. I look forward to Coach's Corner as a regular segment, and particularly those coaches who are going to pop a vein on the sideline when things don't quite go their way.
Thank you, Tony. And of course, not to be outdone, our referee extraordinaire here is quite a student of the game. Now, before we go into your refereeing history, I just want to point out this man's knowledge of World Cups is renowned. In fact, sometime about 20 years ago, what year were you on? 2007. You were on the Einstein factor, and your special subject was, as I believe, World Cups from 1966 to 2006.
Correct.
And did you win?
No, it came very close. Missed it by that much, as Maxwell Smart would say.
Well, one of Tony's passions has been refereeing, but we had him on anyway, and he's put together a few little segments that will be regular throughout the season called Ref's Riff. Tony, tell us a bit about that.
It's a little segment where I've gone back through World Cups, and look, the third team on the field are the men in black, and sometimes they can make or break games. There've been a lot of controversial decisions made over the years in World Cups where the outcome, the final result, has been changed by these men through things that they've either missed or that they've very interesting decisions that they've made. So I've put together a collection of refs' riffs and the Men in Black, and some of them are quite embarrassing, and hopefully you'll look forward to them.
All right, let's have a look.
Wasn't quite what was required, and neither was that challenge on Beckham. And Beckham, now whether Beckham accidentally smacked into the defender, Simeone, the midfield, I don't know. But Beckham's holding his head. I think a yellow card is going to be brandished here somewhere, and it might be to David Beckham. Now Shearer's telling Batistuta not to get involved. The two captains there.
Brian, it could be a red card. That's what Alan Shearer's worried about.
What, for Beckham?
Yes, because he retaliated. And
it's a yellow card. Wait a minute, he's taking another card out for Beckham. It's a red card for David Beckham. Oh no! So Beckham is out of the game.
Right in front of the referee, Brian.
And Simeone gets the yellow card. That certainly is worth and bears looking at again. And that's all it was.
He gets up, he's apologising to him, and then he kicks
Oh yeah,
it,
beg your
Brian.
pardon.
I think he's got to go, and the referee's 4 yards away.
Yeah. From that angle, it's quite clear.
All right, that was really good, Tony. And of course, it's not always the World Cup that the referees influence the result, is it? Not mentioning any A-League Grand Finals recently.
No, well, this is the first World Cup that they will be using the VAR.
Vaffanculo, if I'm going to wear my Italian flag.
Yeah. Well, there's a lot of Newcastle Jets fans that are still hurting over the A-League Grand Final, and something just tells me that deep down the VAR is going to make, a controversial decision, send somebody off. It is going to be one of these situations where a player could be sent off retrospectively, something that they did beforehand that the referee may have missed.
I wonder when that's going to happen.
It'll happen live.
Sure will.
I just hope that they don't slow things down. To me, the VAR has just really slowed things down. They need to make it a lot quicker so the game flows.
Yeah, certainly not without its controversies, the old VAR, but hopefully they'll have ironed some of that out by the time the World Cup comes. We have to say that.
Yeah.
Now, getting on to the World Cup, not to mention the referee's influence on each game, but there are a few standout teams that aren't the traditional favourites this year. Have you got any tips? Who do you reckon is going to get through? Thank you very much.
Of course. Look, FIFA put the 32 nations into 8 groups. I tend to put them into 3. And I do this every World Cup. It's in my mind. And I always love to see the battles of teams between these groups. So to me, your Group 1 teams are the teams that every World Cup, they turn up, they expect to win it. The Brazils, the Argentinas, the Germanys, England. They turn up thinking they're going to win it. Then Group 2 are those sort of also-ran nations. They're pretty good. The Swedens, the Denmarks, the Uruguays may not quite win it, but they expect to go quite far in the tournament. And then you've got your rank outsiders, your Panama, your Australia. We've put Australia in that, even though we may think that we're going to do quite well in this tournament. We're Group 3 players. And to me, the real drama occurs when you have a Group 1 team playing against a Group 3 team, and the expectation is that they will beat them well, and there's either a draw. So going back a couple of years ago on this famous theme of Italy, in 2010 they were in the same group as New Zealand. Now they expected that Italy would wipe the floor with the kings of Oceania, and ended up the Kiwis scored first, and the final result, Italy scored from a penalty, and the final result was 1-1. Now you think, it's a 1-1 draw. But it's huge news. The team like New Zealand, that is a massive result. Trinidad and Tobago years ago celebrated a 0-0 draw against Sweden in the streets of the capital city. I mean, these sort of things, they're huge to these small nations. Economies, it's been shown, economies rise and fall with the fortunes of the football teams the further they go. Costa Rica had a terrific run in 2014, only beaten by the Netherlands on penalties, after a 0-0 draw. So these smaller nations, and this is the World Cup where a lot of these small nations are going to cause a lot of problems for these bigger nations. They are banana peel games. One of these big teams are going to slip on banana teams.
I think you're right. I've been looking at some of the coaches and some of the teams, and there are some dark horses coming through in this one. I don't know that they're going to win the tournament, but it wouldn't surprise me, for instance, if teams like Iran or Belgium,
Serbia,
made it, or Serbia made it through to the semi-finals. I mean, they've got terrific records running into the World Cup. Some of them have been undefeated for ages. You look at the depth of players in a team like Belgium. Really, the only thing that's going to stop them winning this thing is whether they can gel as a team. And they've got a coach that sort of knows that about them. So
don't underestimate. And again, you know this in your coach's corner. Don't underestimate the value of a good coach. They will. They'll grab a team and make them better than the sum of their parts. Then they'll instill a belief in them that they can go further in the tournament.
And look, some of the things these coaches have to deal with as well. I mean, the coach of Sweden, Zlatan. Imagine inheriting a team that has Zlatan in the team, but not in the team, then declaring he's in the team. You just want to tell.
Can I say something controversial from the outset? I know this is the first program. Going back to the European final that Portugal beat France, I believe. Portugal started playing better once Cristiano Ronaldo went off the field.
Well, wasn't he coaching from the side?
He was coaching from the side. He got injured. What was it? The first 10 minutes. Portugal all of a sudden with Ronaldo off the park started actually playing like a team and played better and ended up getting the result. He won the medal with them, of course. But sometimes these guys with the massive egos, they're not bigger than the game. Maradona was not bigger than the game. And sometimes they need to be taken down a couple of notches.
I think we should keep an eye on this.
Yeah.
I think we should have a look for who really did. Now, speaking of keeping an eye on things,
yes,
I want to mention our little friend here.
Oh, yes.
Okay, Zabi Varka is the official mascot of this World Cup. Any resemblance to the official World Cup mascot of the USA World Cup is purely coincidental. Okay? The fact that it was a wolf and he had red pants and a white shirt with blue sleeves in 1994 it's just purely coincidental. But this little fella
same
here,
marketing company, I believe.
yeah, probably. But look, Zabi Varka is Russian for scores a lot. So you'll find we've got a little segment coming up, everybody, where Zabi Varka's heading out to the nightclubs of Newcastle, and he's going to be scoring, I think. We'll find out what happens.
It's knockout stuff.
It sure is. So look out for Zabi Varka at a pub near you, and we'll get on to individuals that make up the World Cup in later episodes.
I think it'll make a huge impact on this World Cup.
Yep, absolutely. Now, before we go, we better wrap it up. We're
Yep.
being told to wrap it up. We do want to talk to Novocastrians or anyone that lives anywhere around the Hunt, or if you know somebody who has an experience of the World Cup. Okay, if you've been in one, played in one, coached in one, your second cousin scored in one, went to the World Cup, went to this World Cup, went to the last World Cup. If you live near Newcastle and you've got a unique World Cup experience, we want to hear from you. We're going to get you on. We'll have you on and we want to hear your stories. So please, any World Cup stories from Newcastle, please get on our Facebook page. Private messages if you have to. Tweet us on Twitter if you want to. But let us know your stories. We want to share them.
Us. Yep, wonderful. World Cup. Just one final thing before we go. Getting back to Brazil.
Couldn't let it go.
This World Cup, I feel sorry for any team that is going to come up against Brazil. They are going to be on a mission of revenge after 2014.
They are so on a mission. If you've seen any of the stuff that is coming out about them, they will not rest. What will be funny is if they don't get there. If you saw Tears last World Cup, this will be
I'll be flowing
something
this
to
time
watch.
around
Yes,
as well.
Get out your paddles. You'll need a boat. All right.
Terrific. All
So
right.
we're right near the end. Look, we want to just before we go thank our wonderful sponsors. Tony?
Oh, thank you. And also I'd like to thank I'd like to thank our cameraman Harrison, who's been doing a terrific job, and will do so over the next course of the month as well.
Yes, thank you. He's giving us the wind up, so we will say goodbye and we'll see you next time.
All right, see you later.
Really? Do we have to do that?